Hi YouTubers, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you for joining me, taking your valuable time, and I'll try and make this short. There was a magnitude 3.7 earthquake up there in Montana. Yeah, the continents, the plates are moving. They did not fudge about this earthquake. Let me bring it down so you can see. The monitors for Montana, all of them, they're not working. I don't know why. The closest one I got is Holmes Hill. And it does come in as a magnitude 3.73. Yep. So there's the monitor for Holmes Hill. I downloaded 4 different monitors. Let me bring this up for you. The one next to Holmes Hill on the left, that is Little West Thumb. Then we got Soda Butte, yeah. And then we got Western Boundary on the right. Let's take a look at Soda Butte, because that's the one that's been screaming. If I see any signs of more screaming today. Yeah, shook up the caldera. You can see we got hot water and hot steam. And yeah, the magma was sloshing around there. So this earthquake came in at 6:47 a.m. local time. And I do see a little screaming right here. Right there. Those of you that follow my reports would recognize that signature. It comes in so fast. Yeah, that the monitor can't pick it up. But see, this is all tectonic in movement. See how it's got sharpened points. And it's rounded. So this occurred at 5:36 a.m. today. And you can see we got a lot of popping of the rock right there and right there, and that's more recent. The magma chamber, as you know, is moving towards the northeast. As the magma comes up and puts pressure on the roof, the dome, the crust of the earth, yeah, becomes more brittle. So we got popping of the ground, and once again, there's that screaming right there. What else do we got? Smithsonian Magazine, online, they actually have the sound of the volcano screaming. Let me play it for you. Now, they describe it like a tea kettle. It slowly builds and gets louder. Let me play it for you. Now, they used to not know that volcanoes did this. And this is from Redoubt Volcano there in Alaska. And they often do this prior to an eruption. And we know that Yellowstone is recharging for another eruption. Alright, during that magnitude 6.7 earthquake, yep, it did it there, right there. Yeah, I almost missed it there. Like I said, it really shook up the caldera, even though it was a little ways away. I wanted to come over and see if I see anything else here during that earthquake. No. Okay, that one again was prior. All right, 10:02, right there. Let me bring it over. You can see we got a small quake that happened right there. And yeah, they actually call this blobs of magma when you see a signature like this. And that was at 10:02 Universal. So that would have been at 3:08 a.m. today, November 16th, which is Wednesday, 2022. And we got a few marked in red up over here, right there. That would have been yesterday, 2013, 1:13 p.m. yesterday. That would have been Tuesday. And we got popping of the rock. And what else do we got here? Okay, 2:34 p.m. yesterday. All right, yep, there's that. You see we got some shaking that was going on. I haven't had a chance to look and see where that was occurring. Let me bring it over. right, oop, I went off the line. Right there. Let's look at the seismic signature. Yep. I already showed you that one. The popping of the ground. We got another one marked in red. Where is it? I don't know. Oh, right there. 17:15. That would have been yesterday, Universal. 10:15 a.m. Yep, more popping of the rock that brought up the magma. Look at that. And I think that's as far as I went back. Let me close this. Yeah, we got blobs of magma coming in. There. Let me close that. Again, this is Soda Butte. Okay, and this is what it was showing when I pulled the files. Alright. West Thumb. This is at 6.7. And West Thumb is on the western side of Yellowstone Lake. You guys all know about the crack that's at the bottom of the lake where the magma's trying to come up. At least if you've been with me a little bit. Alright, and there's that quake. What time? Let's check it out. Let me bring this over and see if we can see anything screaming real quick before I check out. Okay. Nope, not being reported. It actually starts over here. I'll bring it over. Let's see, right there. And they're not reporting it. I think it's right there. Yeah, right there. Let's check out the seismic signature. Yeah. So we got harmonic and tectonic. Both. 2:57 a.m. And let's take a gander at how big it was. Where am I? Okay. I wonder if that was something global. Let's look at that. Yeah, it rattled for a while. Okay. Well, am I doing this right? Yeah, it says it's a magnitude 2.96. Yeah, it just rattled for quite a while. I want to show you the felt reports for this 3.6. There's 2 reports that were sent into EMSC. It says I was sitting in prayer, and all of a sudden I felt a slight shaking. I looked at a couple of hanging fixtures that typically would have shown evidence, but they weren't moving. I knew we had a quake and had been waiting for it to be reported. Another one here, Polson. Now this would be Montana. Small, quick tremor for about 5 seconds. 286 people said they did feel it, and it was definitely uplift. Look at that. Yeah, it came straight from the top and went up. Like I said, the plates are probably moving. Well, they are moving, but it didn't slide. It's locked there, which would mean there's tension that has built up. Eventually, it will move. So here we got Kalispell and Missoula, Montana, Helena, Montana, Deer Lodge National Forest, it looks like, and those are all the felt reports. Now this one here, Arlee said it was intensity level 5. 3 responses there. Felt by most people. Some breakage of dishes or windows, plaster, cracks in the walls, disturbance, things fell over of tall objects. Better get out there and check your water and gas lines. And yeah, far enough where, see, okay, 5 would be a 3.5 to a magnitude 4. Now, this is today. Taylor, Wyoming. There was a magnitude 3.6. That's actually, let me show you. Right here, and then there was a 3.0 also today. Okay, so let's bring it out. And it's near Bear Lake, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, you can see here the direction that the plates are moving. And right there, yep, that's Bear Lake. I covered this a little bit, I think a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, about the earthquakes. And then it goes from Bear Lake down to the Great Salt Lake City. Let me bring it out. Okay, can you see that? Okay, maybe I'll bring it in and just move it over a little bit. Here's the 3.6, the 3.0, and this is Salt Lake City. Yeah, and the Wasatch Fault Line. Yep, that's been moving too. You might have a large one coming there. And I've talked about that. If they do have a large earthquake, yeah, I got it drawn out in blue. The lake would tip more likely, and this whole area would be flooded out. The airport, we got Glendale, the edges of Salt Lake City, Salt Lake City, West Valley City. Remember, they were having all those earthquakes near Magna back in 2020. There was a 5.7, actually 2020, a 5.7, and I believe they revised the location of the earthquake. No reports saying they felt the 3.0. I am sure they did. So I got 3 of them here. I got marked out the 3.6 down there by Salt Lake City. Also the 3.0 and the 3.7. Let's go back. There you go. 286 people said they felt that. They gave it an intensity level of 4, but as you saw here, yeah, there was 3 reports of an intensity level 5 breakage or lee. So the continent's trying to move, and that will continue because we got the weakening of the Earth's magnetic field. So that's all I have for you right now. I guess we could go to the western boundary real quick. I want to make this kind of short for you, but you can see we got several marked in red, which are not being reported. Yeah, right there. Let's go to the seismic signature on these. I have to make that bigger. Okay, we got one there. Tectonic and movement. Right there, tectonic and movement. Same with that one. And we got lots of little things happening too. Now remember too, this is an area where it seems to indicate they got a crack where magma has been trying to come up. You can see the different lines of melt. And I've talked about how there's areas where people do walk only about 600 feet under the ground where they have pockets of melt. And let's see what it was showing when I pulled the files right there. Yeah, let's pull this down a little bit. You can see it better. Now the western boundary is actually the west entrance for Yellowstone Lake. Alright, and that's it right there, the main road that comes through. And I've talked about this. Okay, we got Denny Creek. That monitor is not working. It's kind of a valley where this road goes through. Then up over here is Earthquake Lake and Hedgen Lake. And this is also the area of the road that goes to the Madison River area. I have a monitor there, but none of the boreholes are working. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support. Yeah, always be prepared for any type of disaster. Please stay safe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.